Hello again, everyone. This is John Arntz, and welcome to the Business Freedom Formula. Today, we are proud to have as our guest, Katie Corlis. Katie, welcome to the program.
Thank
And
you.
how are you tonight?
Well, it's the evening for me, so I'm getting ready to slowly turn in here, but
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good. October has been a very busy month for the business, which I love.
Well, that's great. So, what I alluded to earlier was I have a question for you, and that is, are you working on anything really exciting at this particular moment?
I am. The reason my October has been so busy is I officially launched my first ever group program that
Okay.
focuses on LinkedIn optimization and monetization processes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, that's very interesting because I mean, maybe many of the people who will view this may not have a LinkedIn account. I
Mhm.
know I do, but I'll be darned if I can remember what my login and password are at the moment because it's been
Right?
so long since I've been on it. Um, so tell us a little bit about your group and what it is you actually do with your business.
No problem. So, as the name implies, I'm a LinkedIn strategist here at the bottom of the Zoom. I love LinkedIn. It is my jam, it is my jelly. And over the
Okay.
last few years, I've had a lot of one on one clients where I would spend 8 to 9 weeks working with them,
Hmm.
optimizing and therefore monetizing their LinkedIn presence. This could be a business owner, this could be a professional person within the corporate space. This could also be somebody who is a bit of both, right? Here in the
Okay.
US, we have a lot of those side hustle kind of
Right.
entrepreneurs where they've got a typical 9 to 5 job somewhere,
Sure.
but
Sure.
their passion really is what they're trying to build a little bit better. So
Right.
I kept saying, I love helping my one-on-one, but if I did a group program and I took all of this data for that 8 to 9 week period and I took that schedule that works so well for my one-on-ones, but put it in a group format, I could help more people. I
Okay.
could help more people figure out how to make LinkedIn work with them and for them, not necessarily against them.
So you're talking about kind of like B2B stuff
A little
where,
bit of everything, actually. I have one group member for the first group here that's actually a corporate professional. She is
okay.
actually tied to the government shutdown that's currently happening here in the US. She
Okay.
doesn't know what's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen, so she figured she really should optimize her LinkedIn presence now while she's
Okay.
got a little bit of downtime, so she doesn't
Sure.
really know when the government's gonna go back on and how it's gonna work. So she's like, "Let me sign up. Let me help you figure out the best way to help out a group of corporate professionals." And
Sure.
then some of my other members are business to business owners. They
Okay.
have a service that another business will need. And there's actually a lot of business to consumer type entrepreneurs
Oh,
that sit
okay.
in the group as
Okay.
well, where they've got a product that right around shopping holiday season, right?
Right.
Technically, we're in October. You can tell with all my spooky stuff
Sure.
behind
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
but soon Christmas comes.
Yeah. Exactly. Before we
So
even know it. Yeah.
exactly, it's gonna be like that. So,
Right.
this first group that I'm doing, I have a mix of individuals who just have different goals with LinkedIn, but the main goal we're all chasing is I need to do better on LinkedIn and I need to have a more powerful, impactful presence on that platform. So that's what I'm helping them over the next 8 to 9 weeks is understanding LinkedIn. It's not a scary beast. It's not some mythical phoenix that's going to rise again or anything. It's actually one of the simplest platforms. Once you understand the foundation, you're set because it doesn't change much. Unlike a meta
Mhm.
situation where it is a constant ebb and flow and
Sure.
rules and am I in jail? Am I not in jail?
Right.
Right?
Right. I get that. Yeah. Yeah. It's that uh stability.
Yes.
Stability. It's
Continuity.
right.
There's a lot of continuity in LinkedIn.
It's like I get in conversations with some people I know, they ask me questions about things going on in the economy. And I tell them there are too many. It's this 1 minute, it's that another. We don't know what's going on. I said, and what business does is business stops and says, I'm on the sideline till you figure it out.
Right.
And because business wants stability, they want to know what the playing field is so they know how they can operate. But if you keep
Mhm.
changing the rules, they're going to go, no, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch and wait. And that impacts the economy more than the up and down decisions because nobody's doing it. People aren't in custom companies aren't investing. I don't know what doing. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Why do I want to tie up, millions of dollars in revenue in something when it's sitting in the bank in cash and I'm flush? So do I want to hire more people? Do I want to train more people? Do I want to lay people off? It's that stability. And that's what I like about, like you said, with LinkedIn is it's a stable platform. The rules don't change
Mhm.
much. You can learn it and then you've got it.
Yeah. And there's some basic things that I've been on the platform for 17 years that haven't changed. Even in 17 years, it hasn't
Well,
changed. It's quite incredible to me.
wow.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's yeah, it's probably because of I'm gonna say the demographic it it supports.
It has a very wide range, though. As
Mhm.
of this year, LinkedIn officially reached a billion platform users.
A
As of this
billion?
year, it took it a while because it's a slow burn type situation, but a lot of business owners that are business to business or business to consumer, right? It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Meta has been such a roller coaster for them
Sure. Sure.
over the last 24 months. So LinkedIn has seen a migration occur from one platform to their platform.
Mhm.
And that's to me kind of impressive because people are so accustomed as a business owner understanding Meta and the flash and
Sure.
panache, I think is the word
Mhm.
one of my clients used the other day. And LinkedIn doesn't really have that.
Right.
They're this stable, steady one that if you can figure out a good foundation, 17
Mhm.
years down the road, it'll still work for you
Right.
because it does for me.
I noticed that when I was a little more active on it many, many years ago, it just seemed almost blah, almost boring.
There's a boring aspect to it, yes.
Yeah.
But I will say that the more people are migrating to it, the more personality you see.
Right.
So 20 years ago when it was just forming, I was in college when
Mhm.
LinkedIn was just forming, and I didn't understand LinkedIn then. But within about a year of graduating from college, I was part of an alumni association from the university I got my bachelor's degree in. And LinkedIn was a huge power move for me because all of these movers and shakers in Denver, which is where I'm from, associated with the Alumni Association, they had LinkedIn. So
Sure.
I just got LinkedIn so I could be part of this alumni
Mhm.
association from a different angle. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad I stepped in when I did because I've watched it evolve. And there was a little bit of oddity in the middle of the pandemic years
I
because
bet.
nobody really knew what was going on anyway.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
But once the pandemic was removed from our everyday concept and
Mhm.
conscious collective, right? It went back to normal. It went back to the steady, steady foundation.
Mhm.
And I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really great because like I said, is I know now that they allow some kinds of short-term video, kind of like TikTok
Mhm.
does. So I'm sure that's livened things up a little bit. And
Yes.
because everything had just appeared to be static because there were people posting things. And I mean, and I know a lot of people I did business or was involved with in other businesses years ago that are still on
Mhm.
there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sometimes I just reach out and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And it's been 3 years, and I hope life is treating you well. And and I should be more active on it. Um, I'm actually quite active on Facebook, at least business wise. I don't use it in my personal life. I only
You're
got a Facebook account so that I could do business because I could reach, millions and millions of people easily. And it
and
just
I'm the
makes sense to
opposite.
me. Yeah. And you went the opposite way.
Yeah,
And I guess I'm going to have to look into that more. And
for sure. It's one of those platforms Once you understand it, because it doesn't change often, it's easy to just pick up and run with it again.
Hmm.
The one thing I will tell your viewers, just a
Hmm.
pro tip with LinkedIn,
Hmm.
posting twice a week. That is all it takes, is twice a week at the bare minimum. Do something that's a longer post that requires somebody to click the see more, and
Hmm.
the second post, make it short and sweet. Short and
Interesting.
sweet. Yep. So, for
Interesting.
example, a lot of people will do a quick snapshot of a Zoom room when they're on an online networking event.
Okay.
All you do is take a quick screenshot of you in your Zoom room. And then for your copy for your post, just simply acknowledge it was so nice to be at fill in the blank networking event. I met X number of people, some great faces. If you're able to tag people, tag them.
Hmm.
And that's it. That shows that you're professionally developing your skills, that you're
Hmm.
out networking on behalf of the company that you're a corporate employee for,
Hmm.
or your own business, or a combination of both.
Hmm.
Right? And that's huge for
Right.
development. There are people that are utterly terrified to talk publicly, and this is a public conversation you'll
Right.
have
Exactly.
in a networking online room.
Yeah.
So then they're not as nervous talking in the real world when you're three-dimensional and you can shake somebody's hand.
Sure.
It's
It-
wonderful watching people flourish
yeah.
from these online virtual spaces into the real world. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I think like all of us growing up, when we had to do a presentation in front of the class or something, we were always very nervous. And I think a lot of that had to do with the peer pressure
Oh, for
going
sure.
on. And then back in the 80s, I got a job. I had with this company I worked at where they ended up, I had this highfalutin title called applications engineer. I had no engineering background at all. And but what I was doing was demonstrating how the equipment that we built was used. And because it was microelectronic welding equipment, people would send in samples and I would put samples together and tell them what
Hmm,
equipment I used, even what the initial settings were, so they had a place to start and all of this.
okay.
And I met all kinds of people. Well, when I decided to go back to college and I had to do presentations, it was easy. And later
Yep.
on in another software job I had to do training. I get 30 people in a room, do training, do all of these things, and it just never was a problem. But I realized one day, this is funny, I ran into a young lady at school who was, I could tell something was wrong because I'd interacted with her before. Something just wasn't right. And I said,
Mhm.
"What's the problem?" She goes, "I have to do a presentation." Okay. And she was scared to death. And I said, "All right."
It's
I said, "Give me,
nerve-wracking, that yeah.
yeah, give me a minute and we're going to step outside and you're going to give me your presentation." And so the first thing she does, she takes this big deep breath and exhales and she starts to read. And I go, "Stop." I take the paper out of her hand. I said, "Tell me about your presentation. What are you doing? What are you talking about?" And she goes off on this thing. And I said, "Well, you really like it, don't you?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "You're enthusiastic." I said, "Well, just get up there and tell people about it."
Yep.
She came back smiling. She goes, "I got a B plus."
Good for her. I love
So
it.
it's just people get caught up in feeling that they have to do this. And if they just relax and have a conversation with a room full of people.
Yep.
But I know not everybody can do that.
I will say one of my clients from about 2.5 years ago,
Hmm.
she was already an introverted person, and
Hmm.
during the isolation of the pandemic timeframe, she just became more of a turtle. She was really
Sure.
in her shell,
Right.
and I laughed and I was like, "I need you to go find out how to be a naked turtle." She's like, "A what?" And I said, "A naked turtle. I need you to get out of your shell. And if you're out of your shell, it's a turtle that's naked because a
Right.
turtle, by definition, is an amphibious thing inside of a shell. So I'm asking
Right.
you to get out of your shell. So go be a naked turtle." She looked at me like I was crazy. She's like, "How do I do that?" So I'm in Philadelphia right now, but at the time I was in North Carolina and
Hmm.
she happened to be in Raleigh. I was not in Raleigh at the time. I was out along the coast, but I knew
Hmm.
some friends in Raleigh. So I put my client in contact with my friends up in Raleigh, and they had 2 or 3 networking events, including a Toastmasters.
Okay.
So my client went and sat at a Toastmasters, was really impressed with the concept of Toastmasters,
Hmm.
decided that she wanted to be a guest one more time, and then she enrolled to figure out how to be a naked turtle better.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the process with Toastmasters, she really did understand that she can be a naked turtle when need be, and then step right back into her turtle shell.
Hmm.
And she did that. She was very successful. The business that she was trying to do, she had a lot of CPA knowledge.
Hmm.
She had been an employee for a number of years. It was a business that was failing just because of some medical issues with the owner.
Hmm.
And she knew that she had all of these beautiful skills in her head, and she
Hmm.
decided to open up her own business, but she
Hmm.
didn't really know how to be a well-spoken business lady because she
Right.
was so used to being an employee.
Sure.
And that's why she brought me on with some of the creative strategies I have and branding. I'm very good at finding something that sets people apart and
Hmm.
incorporating that into their branding.
Yeah.
So with her, it also became a little turtle pin. She had this tiny little turtle pin and a turtle keychain that would
Hmm.
constantly be her visual reminder
Sure.
to be a naked turtle.
Yeah. I love that. And and you touched on something about about the whole branding thing is that I think people think that first of all, my business is unique, and secondly, there's nothing exciting about it. So how do I do? How do I find this
Mhm.
thing? And it's that I think it's also part of what niche are you in? Who's your
Right.
who is your target market? Who is how do you speak the lingo that they speak? Do you understand what they're doing? I mean, I spent 16 years working in an environment in what's called the employee leasing industry. At least that's what it was called way back in the late 80s, early 90s. It's now called
Okay.
the professional employer organizations. Okay.
Gotcha.
And these people do payroll and deal with the benefits management for
Yeah.
other employers. Okay.
Okay.
So one person in an office somewhere, say in Denver, in fact, we had a client in Denver, and they might do payroll in this benefits management for 25, 30 different companies, all having their employees. And they would produce the payrolls on all of this thing. And, you know, part dealing with all of these people and all of this, just you could look at this thing and say, well, this is pretty dry. We're just running
Right.
payroll, we're doing this. But you could reach out to people in different ways to talk about what you really did. And it said, no, we don't do payroll. No, I mean that's the byproduct. I mean that's the thing. What we do is, and then they would launch into whatever it is they thought. Some of those clients
Right.
had attorneys on staff. Some had professional HR people on staff that developed programs and all of this. And so they all differentiated from each other in something as drab as doing payroll. And
Okay.
accountants can do the same thing. I mean, I think there's probably for most of us, there is no drier occupation than being an accountant.
Or a tax person.
Right.
Just in general, trying to figure
Yeah.
out taxes. Oh my gosh, my brain hurts all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. Every time I go to do my income tax, I'm like, ah, and I have a master's degree in business. So I've had enough accounting and economics and all of that. And I still look at it and go, God, this is awful.
It really is.
What does this really mean?
Who knows? Add a
Who
0
knows?
to it. See what happens.
Yeah. So with part of what you do then, Katie, do you include like do you like start with somebody's profile and dressing that up and then moving on to other things? I would think that's where one would start was with a profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the group program, it basically is the exact same schedule I do for my one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
Each week, there's 3 different elements that I focus on. I have figured out the sequence of said elements
Mm-hmm.
over that 8 to 9 week run. And I say 8 to 9 because I always leave that one extra week for any questions.
Right.
The 8th week is my cake week. It is so easy because the 7 weeks prior to that, I'm constantly changing things, moving things around, tweaking things, adjusting the about section, removing connections that aren't working, adding new connections that are going to benefit the goals of what
Mm-hmm.
my client has. And like I said at the start, though I love helping my one-on-one and I don't plan on getting rid of that, I would
Right.
love to expand my group
Mm-hmm.
options because I can help more people,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I feel like after 10 plus years being in business, I have helped a lot, but I can help even more in the next 10 plus years.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at. And my next group session, I decided to do in January. I know that there's a lot of moving and shaking that usually happens the last month of the year between
Right.
holidays and like, okay, so 2025 is going to be done soon. And I want to do something different in 2026. There's so much new energy that happens in January. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite excited to see the types of new individuals I can attract for the second group session that I
Mm-hmm.
do for that 9-week run. I'm
Sure.
I'm ready for the newness myself in
To the
January.
newness yourself. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. That sounds that sounds interesting. And you're right about how things tend to, there's like this new energy at the beginning of the year.
Right?
Yeah.
I
And
love it.
yeah.
It's I think it's honestly one of those times in the year too where people want to refresh their lives, not just by losing weight or if you're single, finding your dream person, but
Mhm.
in a lot of professional landscapes, it's also like, I know that I could have done better last year. I
Right.
just need a new way to be
Mhm.
better. And I
Right.
believe LinkedIn for a lot of people, like you said at the top of this, it's not something you yourself have been very active in, but
Mhm.
you know the power of the platform
Sure.
when used on a very regular basis,
Yeah.
which I think it's less than 3% of those billion profiles are everyday users. So I am in this very strange category of being in the top 3% because I am on LinkedIn multiple times a day within my own space, within my own profile.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have often heard from a lot of people that it's a very powerful platform
Mhm. Yeah.
when you use it regularly. And I think
Oh, yeah.
though some people don't. I mean, I can see two reasons, two things that one of them would be kind of more personal to me, but one of them is it when you're pushing yourself out there for some people, if it feels salesly,
Mhm.
okay, they have that can be kind of off-putting to them.
Oh, for
Um,
sure.
because especially if you had a bad experience with a real sleazebag salesperson, go buy a used car. You'll understand what I mean. Okay.
Oh
The
my
other one
gosh, yeah.
is the other one is I think that there's this constant, you almost feel the pressure to constantly post, even if you're talking about like two a week. Okay. It's like it's like when a new band comes out, okay? They come out with this great music in their first album,
Right?
and then everybody wants more. But what you forget is they spent probably 15 years writing that first album. Now you expect the
Mhm.
second album to be just as good in 18 months?
Right.
It's not going to happen. So I
Yep.
may have a great number of ideas for the first couple of weeks, and then I start digging.
Yeah.
What can I find? What can I do? How can I make this? And I think it's that the concept of the ideas don't roll for everybody. Other people are pulling it out of the ether, just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
They've got it. They've got it. And others of a struggle trying to find relevant material to talk about that
Mhm.
doesn't feel like we've retreaded something we did 3 weeks ago. And I can see that being maybe a barrier for some people to what you're saying. I mean, 2 posts a week doesn't sound like a lot unless you
So
don't have a lot of material.
what I always tell my clients,
Mhm.
2 posts a week is not as difficult as your brain is making it out to be. And they're like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "Send me a photo of the top 3 books that you've read to increase your business knowledge."
Mhm.
And do individual books and then
Mhm.
do one group shot. So that's 4 posts right there. That is book A, B, and C as
Me.
individual posts
Right.
and do every other week.
Hmm.
And then as a fourth post, do all three of those books. That's 4 posts that you can take from one idea.
Yeah. And
All these great Zooms that you're in, take a couple screenshots and sprinkle them in. It's only Monday. I was on 5 other calls today. You are my 6th Zoom today and my last one of the day. I
wow, you were
had
glutton for punishment, girl.
well, I love doing podcasts because I get to share
Hmm.
the mystique of LinkedIn and that it's really not a mystery. It's really not this scary mythical beast that's going to have to be slayed by a dragon
Hmm.
or slayed by a sword that lights on fire. Like
Hmm.
none of that for LinkedIn. Another topic I always like to share for a post idea is what inspires you?
Sure.
Seriously, what inspires you? So I would answer the question 1 week, and then a couple weeks later, I'd say, okay, peoples, I'm going to create a poll for that one. So that way people have an option of these 3. What inspires you? Do your loved ones inspire you? Does being a better version of yourself inspire you?
Hmm.
Is there some role model that you try and emulate that inspires you? Or is it D, drop your comments below? So
Hmm.
then you get an interactive process because it's a poll and you learn about your connections. You learn about what inspires them. For me, my inspiration are my grandpas. I have 2 World War II grandfathers that
Oh.
instilled in me entrepreneurial elements.
Mhm.
One is still alive. My grandpa Stanley is 98 years old.
Wow.
He is
Wow.
an ornery old goat,
I
but he
bet
was
he is.
also oh my gosh, his memory is fading. He's in a memory care component to the living facility, but he's 98. What do we honestly expect? He's a Navy guy. Honor old goat, yes. But in his heyday, he was a master carpenter in Denver and he owned his own business.
Yeah.
I've always heard in my childhood stories about the cool things Grandpa Stanley did,
Hmm.
the amazing things he built, the elements in airports. He literally would do build out of airport newspaper shops with
Hmm.
all the cabinets. Even to
Okay.
this day, there are some airports that still have my grandfather's handyman stuff
Mm.
in them because he built his stuff so well that
Sure.
50 plus years later, it's still in an airport.
Sure. I can see
Right?
that. My
So,
my father was a Finnish carpenter.
okay.
Okay. Um, my grandfather, my mother's father, was at that age where he was too young for World War I and too old for World War II. And
Oh, yeah.
my mother was 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago last week, my mother passed away, but she was 94 and
Okay.
she had memory issues too. She faded near the end. So appreciate where you're at with that with your grandfather and just enjoy him for as long as you can because
Oh, I do.
yeah, it
I
it it
have
it can be tough
it
when
definitely
they
is.
yeah.
I have a grandmother on my dad's side that's
Hmm.
also alive, and she's 98 as well. All 4 of my grandparents were born the same year, and they all got married within 5 days of each other in the same year as well. So, I
Wow.
my grandparents are my inspiration. Like,
Oh,
I
sure.
want my parents to be happy and proud of me. Don't get me wrong, John, I do. I'm
Mhm.
an only child. I'm a people pleaser at heart at times.
Yeah.
But I wanted my grandparents to be proud of me that
Hmm.
I went to college because they never got the chance.
Sure.
That I owned my own business and I've done it on my terms since 2012.
Yeah.
I've changed what I've done a little bit. It's always been in the scope of marketing. But my grandfather, when he has his good moments and remembers that I own a business,
Hmm.
it's so comforting to talk shop with him.
Sure. I bet it is. I bet it
Right?
is.
He inspires me, and when I did that poll a couple weeks ago in my own LinkedIn world, I was shocked at what inspires people. And for some people, it's, "I wanna be a better example of what a person is outside their home to my kids."
Hmm.
That was when I got a lot of people who are like, "I'm just trying to be a better person for my kids. My
Yeah.
kids inspire me to be better than my own parents."
Yeah.
I was blown away,
Yeah.
absolutely blown away. So that's a great content piece that you and your listeners can take into the LinkedIn is share what inspires you, and a couple weeks
Mhm.
later, create a post so you get that interaction, you get that engagement, and you learn about the people you surround your LinkedIn presence with. That's
Sure,
very big.
sure. Because
Mhm.
one of the things I think we all know, if we even if we don't know it, if we take a moment and think about it, we attract people that are like us.
Exactly.
Okay. And if you look at all your friends, they're very much like you.
Yep.
And I think the same thing probably applies to who we get as a client.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I don't think we get too many outliers because the comfort level between us wouldn't be good.
I
If you
don't
know
know
what I
actually. I've had some very powerful people that make gobs and gobs and gobs of money. But
mean?
they're also smart enough to know that, like, if this is not my jam and jelly, but I know somebody who LinkedIn is their jam and jelly,
Hmm.
I'm just going to bring them onto the team because
Sure.
they're going to be able to teach me things.
Hmm.
And they're also going to be able to teach other parts of my staff. I've
Sure.
had several very interesting clients that I was shocked they approached me, but it was my reputation that preceded me in
Sure.
rooms several times
Yeah.
that I don't bullshit with people. I'm a very straightforward person. I talk with my hands a lot,
That's
which
okay.
always makes people feel comforted, I guess.
Yeah.
And I have an interesting sense of humor with a genuine, authentic, I just want to help people
Sure.
attitude,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
I guess it's rare to find that. I'm a bit of a unicorn, which is usually what I have on my head is a unicorn horn, but
Mhm.
I've worn them so often, they're literally falling to pieces, so I'm reconstructing them, and I'm hoping to have new unicorn horns soon, so people will also continue to associate my unicorn horn with me from a branding aspect.
I hope so too, because I mean, I can see that. I mean, I do things and help people out and don't expect a reward.
Yeah,
You know,
sometimes you do things.
a thank you is fine. And I mean, I remember one time coaching a bunch of under 12 boys in a soccer team, soccer league, and we didn't win a game. Okay, we didn't win a game all year, but at the very end of the year, one game, this one kid who was a really good at what he did, but would always lose the ball. And then all of a sudden, he protected the ball and made a move and scored a goal. And my assistant coach said, "Did you see that goal?" I said, "No, I saw him protect the ball."
Mhm.
That was more important than the goal because finally it had gotten through. What we'd worked on all year finally came about. The goal was secondary. That was going to happen anyway. You know, it was that thing. And that made my whole season. I was thrilled. And I still talk about it. And that was 15 years ago. 20 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was. It was just a long time ago, but I still talk about it because it still makes me feel like I had accomplished something for somebody.
Right?
And that's, I think, the crux of it is that most of us really want to do that. And
I
in
think we
business,
do.
sometimes it's harder because we still have to make a living at it. We can't just give it all away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have friends that have learned that the hard way, where they
Hmm.
give given too much away,
Hmm.
and when they look back, it's a, "Oh, now I see what others have been telling me for years."
Hmm.
You know? It's an interesting collection, but I will say, when you help people from a genuinely good place,
Hmm.
it comes back to you. I'm a very karmatic believer. What you put out into the world will come back to you as long as you're authentic about it,
Sure.
right? And
Hmm.
that's one thing as I am expanding into this group process in my business, I'm realizing I'm not overdoing anything, but I'm going to be able to help more people. And it's going to be this ripple, this
Hmm.
domino effect. That is what really puts a little bit more soul in my soul, a little bit, of just wanting to do something better because
Hmm.
I want to leave the world a bit better than I found it. And that's being created with all the chaos in it currently.
Sure. Wow. You got to set a high bar, Katie.
I try not to. I just try and answer questions and have
Sure.
conversations because I feel like that's how people are going to get to know you as a person, but also how you plan on helping the world.
Sure. Sure.
Don't be selfish.
So
That's
if anybody
the group.
watching this wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do that?
Honestly, who's gonna find me on LinkedIn. My
Okay.
name is right here. Boop.
Okay.
You'll be able to find me pretty easily. I
It's
have my
it's
face, which I
it's
don't change. I will
it's
have
on
a
the other
unicorn
side.
horn.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, LinkedIn is gonna be the easiest thing to find. I'm working in the background for a website. I've been in business since 2012. I've never had a website, John, but I am working on it in the background. And once that's ready, I'll be able to announce that. But for right
Okay.
now, just look up that name, y'all, out on
Okay.
LinkedIn. Find my face. We'll be good to go.
Alrighty. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being my guest tonight. I appreciate it. This has been a wonderful conversation. I've
Yeah.
learned
Thank
a
you.
bit. I think everybody watching this will have learned something.
I hope so.
And good luck in the coming year with your with reaching your goals on adding more groups.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
All right. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.